For Chicago Bears fans, this offseason, the main thing to look forward to was the NFL draft. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus on the moves that they made in free agency. We all know in the draft that they had two top 10 picks, and they drafted Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of the University of Washington. But they also made some really cool moves in free agency, bringing in some nice veteran players that's going to help be good leaders in the locker room for a very young Chicago Bears team. The first notable move that they made was acquiring Chargers wide receiver, or I should say former Chargers wide receiver, Keenan Allen. Now, bringing in a guy like Keenan Allen is a great addition because over the years, he's been one of the more underrated wide receivers in the NFL, and primarily it's because he does a lot of his work in the slot. He's very similar to Cooper Kupp, a sort of bigger wide receiver where he's like 6'1", 6'2", but he plays a lot in the slot. And when you have a young quarterback like a Caleb Williams coming in, having a veteran wide receiver that has the ability to get open, especially in those passing downs on third down, is going to be a huge luxury for him. Now, it also helps a fellow wide receiver on the roster in DJ Moore, who now he's still going to be potentially the number one option on the Chicago Bears offense, but now he's not going to be facing as much double coverage. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, the Chicago Bears brought in Kevin Byard, who at one point in his career was an all-pro level player. Now, he's not quite the same player that he used to be, but he's still a nice veteran player to bring in on the back end of the defense, somebody that you can plug in a very young secondary, and still has some good ball hawk skills, and it's really going to help the safety position for the Chicago Bears. Now, they also had some subtractions as well on the roster. Probably the most notable one is them trading quarterback Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I've done a separate video about the details of that trade, but with them, I think with the Justin Fields trade, even though they didn't get much back in return, it was a situation where we already know what they were doing at the quarterback position. So it was a situation where it was better off getting something than nothing. Now, as far as other moves that they made, they brought in Ryan Bates at the center position, and you want to have a really good offensive line in front of a young quarterback, and the center position is sort of one of the more underrated positions on the offensive line. Having somebody that can anchor that offensive line is going to be very important for the Chicago Bears. And overall, I think that they're going to be a very fun team and exciting team to watch next season. You've got some nice skill position players on the offensive side of the ball, specifically at wide receiver. Also, one other thing, they did bring in DeAndre Swift, at the running back position, who's a very underrated running back. He could be a very good wide receiver out of the backfield or a receiver out of the backfield at the running back position. The Bears are going to be really fun to watch this year. Now, I want to hear from football fans in the comment section down below, specifically Bears fans. What are your thoughts on the Chicago Bears' approach to free agency, and which games are you most excited about watching this season?